So there's some, Lena, you're somewhat familiar with this, but there have been some big updates around pranic healing that span a whole bunch of possibilities. But it takes some understanding of how Find Magic People works. And actually, I made some changes just this morning. So there's stuff that probably nobody has seen yet, but it creates some really fun opportunities to share things in different ways and create spaces that are topically really create a resource online for people. So I'm going to share screen and, walk you guys through it. And also, if you have any questions, part of what I'm looking for is like we all do things that are some pretty unique, but we also like if things can fit into a broad category, having some of what we do go into that broad category helps flesh out that category. And then, we can also get more specific. And I'll show you what I mean by that in just a second. Um, so here is can everybody see this? This is the pranic healing space. And so right now I added a discussion groups menu at the very top. And the only thing here is pranic healing, but it takes you to the specific discussion that is just, posts about pranic healing that any practitioner can post here. And it also shows up on the stream page if you go here, but it's consolidated here. So this is just the stuff specifically under pranic healing. But in addition to the conversation, there's also, you can see on the right, people can ask questions. You can see upcoming events, pranic healing topics, pranic healing offerings, and practitioners. And then each of these leads to these other areas. So you can see all the practitioners here, and I'll be adding ways to search, but you can see, you can dive into any of the practitioners. You can see any topics, articles and blogs, things like that. And even videos. I'm going to be doing more with videos to really highlight that, people can watch stuff here as well. And then offerings are, different like courses, classes, offers, things like that. If there's specific aspects of what you do that apply to specific modalities, you can create an offering and it'll go into these areas. And then lastly, events. Uh, so here you see there's not too many coming up, but there were a few more. But you can also look for past events. You can search, add in filters. And so right now, this is just with chronic healing, but the way to create these areas applies to any keyword that you put on your profile or in events. So it helps consolidate things, but I'm cautious about making them visible to the world until there's enough activity that, if people go there, they'll be able to explore. So that's what I wanted to show, and I think I'm showing the wrong. So this is a non-practitioner the way it looks. So here you have the discussion starts with the things that people have shared, but there is a way to ask a question. And you can also, like something or write a comment, but non-paid members can't create initial posts. That's just reserved for the practitioners, so it's an expert-led space. And if anybody has any questions, just yell. But hopefully this is clear so far. Let me stop sharing for a second and go to this screen. Uh, so yeah, here you have again, the pranic healing page. People can also subscribe or unsubscribe, and there's a way to see um, following tags, the things that they're following, but this will help get notifications for the broad category. And then this is my account, so I'm a paid member, so I can write things here and it will show up in the stream right away. Um, if somebody asks a question, that since they're not a paid member, it's hidden from the public until somebody answers it, and you have this members only thing in yellow. But if anybody answers it, it instantly becomes public and becomes part of the conversation. So that way, anybody that's got an account can get involved in the conversation, but it's not visible until somebody engages with it.
Okay.
So, and there's some other possibilities of doing things, but that's the way I've got it set up right now. And that way, everybody can get involved, but it's still kind of managed by the practitioners. Um, so this is and so the thing that I wanted to share, since Lena's, I think, the only pranic healer here, so this space, Lena, the idea for the conversation is that it's partly promotional, but also partly just getting to know the practitioners. And it's not really in use yet, but there's a members only checkbox where we can have like we can have things that just is a conversation among practitioners. So sometimes if there's logistics or how do you guys handle this, it's not public to everybody. It's just the practitioners. And so there's a couple different ways that we can have different kinds of conversation. And my goal is for this to be a really vibrant space. But right now, so this is the stream. These things do show up on the stream as well. So the mainstream. So like Dexter posted this, it does show up here as well as on that page. But here you also have events and activity from all kinds of other things. Um, and I didn't realize Joshua interviewed Samuel. That's cool. Samuel's a member here as well. But here's the pranic healing. So here's Reiki. The Let me just back up for a second. If I click on, yeah, Cindy, this is I went to your, so events, Kundalini NH. Yeah, so I think Cindy, is this yours? So I looked at, so you've got some keywords here. And they're good, but I'm not like there's like Kundalini energy. I think you're the only person that is doing anything with this right now. So this is your profile and this is an offering that you created, but there's no conversation. So it's not fleshed out the same way so that you don't have the menu buttons to see all the practitioners, but you do see, like if there were 5 practitioners, they'd all be listed here. So the goal is to take different categories or different topics like Kundalini energy, or it could be shortened to just Kundalini. And then once there's enough people contributing, and there's topics and offerings and events and discussion, here we can start having the discussion. And I think for Reiki, I did. Yeah, so Reiki, there's several practitioners and there's offerings, and so this has got to start. If there were events, but that's not showing up now because they've all passed. But if somebody says like I love Reiki posts, it should refresh, and then the post is here, and it'll show up to 3 posts, and then it can start a conversation here. Once there's a reasonable amount of activity, then I'll add it to the discussion groups. So it's this is where there's a lot of opportunity to share things, say things, add things, and what I want to communicate is there's a little bit of intelligence to the keywords that you use because we want to be having enough activity in a few specific broad areas And then over time, a lot of the more specific areas will also be fleshed out. But like if you work on several different things, you can create an event, list several keywords, and like so you do that here. If you create an event, you do keywords, you do them one at a time. And so if you want to do like Reiki, there's a whole bunch of options, but hopefully you can find just plain Reiki. I'll have to make this easier. Um, but I think if you, and then Akashic, so Akashic Records. So if you do this, it will show up in both spaces. And then you might want to go to the discussion page and say, hey, everybody, just so you know, I'm going to be doing this event. And so the discussion goes along with the post or with the event and lets people know in a different way. So I'm going to stop sharing for. Does anybody have any questions? Okay. So so there's a lot of opportunity here, and the conversation piece is actually going to be really useful for the search engines because the search engines love original content. And if it's just a conversation, that's all going to be new stuff that isn't anywhere else on the internet. And it's going to be the other part is having all this interwoven information around these different topics really creates a space where somebody that's curious can come in and see, okay, I want to look at, different videos. I want to look at different articles. I want to meet some of the people. Once there's more people, you'll be able to search by country or city or state and find out what's local. And then there's always going to be events if you want to find things that are near you or things that are remote or things that are free or things that are group. So it's going to give people a lot of opportunity to find different ways to connect to people about all these different practices and modalities. And people will be able to get to them from any of our profiles or any of our events because the tags are interwoven. So,
So Derek, I've
Mhm.
started doing a little bit more writing. So if I write an article, is it attached to my profile? Do I just post it like I would, uh, start a thread? Or
Yeah, so that's a great question. So the discussions are very temporary, but the so if you're doing an article, I would do it as a topic and pick blog or news, and then it's a static thing that gets listed differently in the search engines. But then you can also mention it in a discussion. So on the
okay,
post, and that way you just say, by the way, I wrote this article. I'd love your feedback. Or what do you think?
right.
Has anybody done anything similar? And that way you have a couple different ways to list to it. But yeah, everybody's profile, there's a kind of an ecosystem around these topics that I'm creating, but each of you has an ecosystem around your profile. So your profile page has, if you've written any topics, it has a topics menu item, and so people can see everything that you've written. Or if you have videos, that goes under topics as well.
Okay,
If you have offerings or events, that's all listed under your space, but then also appears in other spaces.
okay. And that's what, seeing that somebody had posted a video there, I thought, is there a place somebody can go and just see all the videos or all the articles or, like under a topic right now it's just the pranic healing, but if somebody wrote an article about pranic healing, would it show up as an article, not just as a,
Absolutely, yeah. It shows up in see, and that's one of the reasons why I'm really excited about this because to me it's a really game changer because when people have created things, it kind of shows up in the mix of everything. And I mean, people are curious about specific topics, but like if they read an article and it's like, oh, I want to learn more about etheric reconstruction, like and that's listed, then they can click on it and see if there's anything else. But or they can check by the author and see what else they've written. But yeah, the category specific things, I think it's a lot more reassuring to the practitioners, to you guys, to me, if I create something to know that it's promoting what I do and not everything. And so it helps build a resource around all these different topics and all these different keywords. And and then like there can also be things I haven't really got dived into it yet, but there could be things about anxiety, there could be things about depression, there could be things around. So it doesn't have to be a modality, it can be, a topic area.
Right.
Um,
Okay.
that's a great question. Any other questions? Okay. Um, So that's the gist of it. And so I've been talking to Allison, who's been really kind of spearheading the pranic healing space. And so far it's still kind of slow, like nobody's really I know it's kind of nerve-wracking to be the first person to put something somewhere, or even the third person to put something somewhere. But that's where my sense is that 20 people per category or per keyword, like if everybody does one thing a month, that's 20 new things. That's a lot of activity. And there's two side benefits that I really see is, this isn't AI generated. This is real people. There aren't bots. So much of the internet is being flooded with stuff that isn't actually created by a person. So let's change that on Find Magic People. And the other thing is, I'm not sure how active everybody is on social media, but there's really a sense that you have to post every day or you have to post 3 times a day in order to stand out. And that's, it's the exact opposite here. Like if you post every day, it's going to be kind of like flooding the zone rather than, I think that, having, an occasional thing, it'll give people a chance to slow down, but also for us, we don't have to stand out over, a flood of stuff that isn't related to the topic. And for the world, I think it's a real benefit to see, to not have to like, oh, here's a thing. Oh, here's a thing. Squirrel. So, yeah, I think what we're building here is a real gift to I mean, us and our community, but also the world. And um, yeah, so I've got other things I could say, but I think I'll stop there. Um, so
I've-
go ahead.
I have a question. So
Mhm.
how like on a do you I mean, I'm sure you have statistics or whatever, like what is the engagement rate for this website? Like do you have a lot of new interest
I
like
think it's
daily or
it's hit or miss. I think like honestly, the initial conversation for most areas is going to be talking amongst ourselves for at least a couple weeks. I'll be doing promotions and like when as areas come to life, I'll be doing promotions, but there needs to be a conversation to start before we invite people to participate. And that's
yeah.
just the fact of life. It's hard to track because there's a lot of, I know my Google searches have been going up. They're still pretty low, but it's getting close to 100 a month searches. Traffic, there's a lot more, but I'm getting some like a lot from Asia, which I think is not legit. But there's a fair amount, but right now it hasn't really been that friendly of a place for visitors to engage, and so that's what I'm looking to change.
One of the categories that I definitely think you should add, like you have the pranic healing, I think is animal communicator because it seems to be there's definitely animal communicators
I've
in the
wanted
website.
that for I've
Yeah,
been trying to and like Lena, I know you and I know Sophia is an
Sophia, yeah.
animal healer and an animal communicator. There's a woman in Morocco who's amazing. I had a conversation with her and she's got a whole sanctuary and
Yeah.
it's like, oh, let's get some stuff going. But again, I think that like the animal cat, Lena, I think you're the only person that's listed there right now. You're the only person that's actually got that tag on your profile.
Oh.
So
I don't think I have any tags on mine. I need to go through and update my profile.
yeah, yeah.
Delete it.
And if anybody needs help, like that's something with the cohort or with these meet and greets, part of the idea and this one is a little different because I'm introducing stuff, but the idea is for everybody to like for people to get to know each other. What do you do? Where do you like what's your experience been? And in the cohort, it's partly and in both this and in the cohort I'm available. I'm at all of them, so I can answer questions and I can help people. And I know that a little bit of me showing people goes a long way. It's a lot easier to be shown and know that the way that you're doing things is the right way to do things. So, that's something that I hope people take advantage of.
I
Um,
agree. I think that the way you've been doing things, I like the way you had that video done, or Allison did it with the group of us pranic healers,
mhm,
focusing healing. And it's almost like when you go to a restaurant that you've never been to, like food that you never tasted before, you just want them to show you here, try it, see what it is, see how it's like, what the results have been. I
mhm,
like that because then people can go in and say, maybe this is what I need. I do need this energy, shaman, or I do need this person who's gonna help me change things. I think those videos really help people know more about the specific modality.
mhm. And I haven't so for a while I was putting on my calendar an hour to interview people, and it could be one-on-one or I'd love to do more small groups. I've done the summits, and so those are um, there actually hadn't been that much response from people. So I'd ask for like what days work and people, only a handful of people. But, I think the summits are really powerful. When I do interviews, I turn them into shorts and then both the Find Magic People social media and you guys can get them and use them to promote. And so that, the more things we all do to let people know, hey, here's this great resource. Hey, come and follow me on Find Magic People. And that's again, I'm not even sure if everybody knows that, but there's each of you has a follow button. And if somebody follows, anytime you create new content, they get a notification. And so, rather than having to send out an email or have your newsletter and, work on that every week, periodically people get notifications that draw them back in. And, I think that's a resource for the whole community that's really valuable because it keeps bringing people back to this bigger conversation, you know? Uh,
Yeah. So I do have a question about the cohort. Is
mhm.
that like almost like a Q&A kind of meet?
It's the way that what so I'm a cohort is in entrepreneurial circles for business development, and the idea is that it's nice to have colleagues in the growth of your business. So it's often with startups, and you have people that are kind of at a similar stage, just sharing notes. So they don't necessarily directly help each other, but the support is there, and being able to swap stories and share experiences and kind of have a shared learning. So that's a big part of the cohort. So it's not Q&A, but I'll be available for Q&A because obviously, if everybody's on Find Magic People, learning how to make sure that, everything that you're creating is being created most effectively, makes sense. Um, there are like I've talked to several people that are like I talked to a guy that does storytelling tips, and it was really insightful for me to learn how to and how everything that I say about sales is at some level a story, and being an effective storyteller makes a difference. I talked to somebody that does case studies. So rather than testimonials, he helps people in a whole system of doing case studies, and that can be really effective. So there's people that I could bring in that could help, teach specific aspects. Um, I'm learning, but I'm not like the expert. So, but I think that, from what I've found, and several of you have been to the cohorts, there's something really nice about, oh, I'm not doing this by myself. Oh, how does somebody handle this? Getting perspectives. Um, it's really valuable.
Yeah, that's really helpful. Or because sometimes you feel like you're by yourself. You're doing this on your own. So this really helps.
I think that I mean I've talked to I've probably talked to 700, 1,000 practitioners, and I think like the sense that they're doing it alone is one of the most common things. And I know I've felt it. It's
Yeah.
you know So, and that's, I mean, to me, that's one of the, I've shared this before, but one of my pitches for Find Magic People is that the way that people do things right now, the best practices for small businesses, I don't think they make sense. Create your website, do your social media, do the search engine optimization, and that really puts us in competition with the people that do exactly what we do. And that's not really what we want. And it also means that only a few people are going to be successful. And the more people that try, the harder it gets for everybody. I mean, it's not designed for success. And so here I'm flipping it. Like we're not in a competitive space. Like, we might take classes from each other. Like we're all, people that are curious want to try lots of things. They want to learn lots of things. So getting them in an environment where they can meet people and learn things and explore and really find what resonates ultimately is going to work out best for everybody. But it also means that we can as a group invite people in, people are going to remember who invited them. So you're going to be their first biggest impression. Um, but then like we can all just like grow the conversation and grow the community. And that just to me is just, you know, spiritually and practically makes so much more sense than what most people are trying to do. So, and I did want to invite if any of you, I mean, please consider if there are people that you know that you'd like that you consider colleagues or that you think would be good, partners in some of these spaces. Um, referrals make a world of difference, and I think as practitioners, we all know some practitioners. If I'm the only one that's
Mhm.
saying Find Magic People is awesome, it kind of sounds a little um, um, show offy. But the more people that say, "Hey, this is really cool. You should check it out," that makes a world of difference. And I think that the site will be like, to me, like 500 practitioners is where things are really gonna shift, and you'll be able to search like what's local because right now I can't show that because there are too many places that don't have anybody. I think Lena, you're the only person in South America. So like I don't want like find what's near you. It's like, oh yeah, the nearest person's 1,000 miles away. Like that's not gonna I
Yeah.
don't want to encourage that search.
Right.
Derek, how many practitioners are involved right now with Find Magic People?
There's I think over 80.
Okay.
So
Okay.
a good number.
Yeah.
But I think a lot of people need to see this video. A lot of people need to kind of understand how the keywords worked. I mean, up until this shift, you do an event and it kind of just, it goes into an events page with everything. Do a topic, it goes into a topic section with everything. And this really recalibrates things. So, and the discussion, I think, is really, I mean, you go to, and so for any of you, if any keyword that you see or any keyword that you put on your profile, if you click on it, it'll go to a page where you can start you can post something and start a discussion. So it's easy. And if there's a couple keywords you can let me know, I'm interested in focusing on this, and then I'll keep an eye out for it. And then, I can let other people, like I know a lot of practitioners, if I let them know that they're fitting into something that's already got some activity, that helps. If you know people, hey, you want to do this with me, that helps. Um, and we can, bring all these conversations to life. You're muted, Cindy.
Sorry. This just popped into my brain, but like it would be kind of fun to have like a section where people could just share their crazy spiritual awakenings if they had like an unusual one. I think that'd be
Mhm.
kind of fun. I'd love to see people's
Mhm.
stories, but that's just me. I don't know.
I could, yeah, I mean, we could have spiritual stories. I mean, that could be,
Yeah.
um, that would be fun, and then people could just put whatever they,
Mhm.
whatever's there for them.
Hmm.
And things can go on there's a stream. So if you right on the front page, or on any page, the menu is home and the stream is like the first or second option. But that's like a broad category, and that page, it's like, hey, share your story. Here's mine. What happened to you? Like that kind of thing is nice too. Um, and yeah, again, like any one of us could start something like that. And the other request is to keep an eye on what's happening. And if you can engage, please do, because when people see that the threads are getting longer, there's more activity, and it's the more we participate, the more attractive it is for everybody.
Yeah.
But I love that idea. Um, Well, I think that does any other questions? I mean, would anybody like to look at their profile? Does anybody have any questions about practice, like modalities or keywords? Is anybody tried to create content and they're not quite sure how?
I mean, I have a question. You said that I had an event, and I'm like, what event did I have under mine?
I think it was an offering. It wasn't an event.
Oh,
Oh,
okay, okay. Because I was like, huh, what? No. So, gotcha. I know what you're talking about now.
Mhm.
well, I have to say that with Allison, she's been so involved that she's the one who kind of guide us through, she actually was willing to look at whatever we had before we started the page
Mhm.
or our own profile. She was really helpful. So that's why I don't have a lot of questions because she was right there.
Mhm.
It's good to have that, support. Yeah.
That's a really good point. I mean, Allison and I have talked, and I need more of her. So, especially if you know somebody that is active, has groups, and is trying to, like, has already put energy into growing and supporting a community, that's really what I'm looking for. And Allison hasn't stopped doing all of her stuff on Facebook or other places, but this is a new space, and she's been incredible. So I'm very interested in finding more people like that. And I know it's a very small subset of practitioners, but those are people that would be incredibly valuable for me. And she's loved that I like she was like, "Can you do this?" And then like sometimes within an hour it's done. Like I've got my hands in this, so I can move things around and make things happen. And again, like pranic healing is the only thing in that top menu under discussions. So, that's like that pranic healing is the cutting edge. And the initial people are the foundation. Um, what else
I
was
Al
Oh, go ahead.
Allison did reach out to me and she asked me if I could write an article, and I did for the Awakening or Awaken. I can't
Awaken.
remember. Yeah,
Awaken.
the Awaken.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, oh yeah, I should add that to my profile on here because that's what you're looking for is that
Right.
kind of stuff, right? Duh.
Mhm.
So
Yes. Oh gosh.
yeah.
Yes.
Hmm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
she was trying to do the same thing that she's doing here with Awaken. Awaken was the center. in Pennsylvania who
Okay.
had a nice website, and he had many practitioners on that site, but there is no promotion. There is no, it's not, it's much different to what Derek is doing. It's
Is
more quiet. Like you get into that page and you kind of search around and see what's there, you know. So you
so
should
you
bring that article. Yeah, I'm sorry.
okay. No, I'm cutting you off. So you were part of that organization then too then.
Yes.
Okay, because
Yeah,
it
because
looks
I
really
was in
nice. Yeah.
Pennsylvania.
Okay.
It does.
Yeah.
And I have my profile there and everything, and I did a couple articles too. But
Okay.
it's just, there's a lot of practitioners there. I mean, if you look around, but there's not a whole lot of promoting,
Okay.
different to what Derek is trying to do here.
Hmm.
Yeah, no, I wrote an article for that as well. It was fun, and I mean, there's I've actually come across a few other people that are doing similar things, and it's interesting to see. And you guys may know, like, Heal Me is a pretty significant platform. Um, I think the difference, like, they once you create a profile, it's like, okay, just wait for people to sign up. And there's not really a content creation aspect to it. There's not really a um, conversational aspect to it. And I think, to me, that's missing. Um, yeah, to me, have all of you done expos? Have you ever participated in a fair? Um, there's a lot of people that come in and it takes them an hour of looking around before they decide, okay, this attracted my attention. Oh, this interests me. And I think that, but once they start, they might work with, six different people. So, but I think that, really cultivating a space where people have the chance to look around and understand, oh, this is a space of exploration. This is a space of alternative, you know, thinking and, different conversation. And, when they're like, oh, okay, that's the space I'm in, then they'll, be ready to start, I want to try this. I want to learn from this person. Oh, I liked what you said. I want to ask a question. But, to me, like, it's hard to do that on Facebook. It's hard to do that on LinkedIn. It's hard to do that on other spaces because you're just not the space isn't that conversation. It's not the same mindset. And so having a space with the mindset and having the conversation, I mean, obviously we all want people to, work with us and we want to have clients and have customers. But I think that this kind of slow introduction, get to know us, that's healthier for the world and is going to be attractive to so many more people and sustainable and long term. So, that's I think this is unique in the spaces that I've seen.
Yeah. Yeah, I think you are pretty unique. When Allison started talking about you, she said, "Well, it's not, you haven't heard of it before," which I didn't. I had not heard at that point. But first of all, I was attracted by the name. I'm like,
Mhm.
I love that name. It's just so perfect. Yeah. And then she started saying, talking about how you're trying to make it more like well, let's not say social media, but more like something that's going to attract people too, and people are going to come on a regular basis, which
Mhm.
I love.
Yeah, yeah, and I mean, the conversations with Allison, like the discussions, even with even amongst the pranic healers, has not, like, it's still a little slower, and then,
Right.
having other people join in, um, but I think it's, to me, that's just okay. We just need some more numbers, you know so, getting, and then, I the other thing that I do is I I have several hats that I wear, but I'm getting better at the promotion. And so I've done like for the summit, I did a lot of promotion. We did the videos, and I'll get back to doing video interviews with people, and those can turn into social media. Um, but as these areas come to life, having template, not template, but pre-made promotional things that anybody can share and just say, hey, come and visit the animal communication space, come and see the Reiki space, come and see the intuitive space, the stories of awakening space, and it having things that we can all just tap into and use, I think is going to make a real difference. I know for social media, we're trying to kind of like attract people from social media so that they become part of this. But I know for social media, if post, if you're not posting something once a week, it can hurt you. So if there are kind of pre-made things that everybody can use, and then, okay, I don't have anything this week, I can just grab this and go, and then you're still doing this stuff every week. Um, so those are all part of my plan, and it's not that hard to do. It's just a collaboration of having the activity on the site um, any help about like I'm trying to get more people like you on Find Magic People. So any help really makes a difference because we are trying to, I'd love to get up to 200. I'd love to get up to 500. Um, and that'll, one way that I like to say it is that we all have a gravity, and we're all trying to attract the people that fit for us. But if when we're all together, that's going to be a lot of gravity. And I, that's something that I just feel in my heart. So
So what do I send to other practitioners that I'd like to come over?
Um, great question. I need to I'll be coming up with some copy and then probably by Monday. And if anybody, I'll probably do another one of these on Friday. I think I put it in my phone at 6 o'clock Eastern on Friday. So if you know anybody that would just like the kind of walkthrough I gave you, that'll be open to anybody. So if you know anybody that's like, hey, check this out. If you want to come back, everybody's welcome. Um, but that's I like to share and get to know the people. Um I know just about everybody. Like, some people have snuck in and joined, and it's like, who are you? But you guys are my peeps, so I like to meet everybody. So,
Right.
having come into a Zoom where I show people around is that's I like that. But I also will send out some information. I know Jennifer, who was going to be here, is like, you put it out and I will blast it. But it's better if it starts from me and then people see that it's coming from like the Find Magic People socials and stuff like that. Does that help? Is there anything you'd like to see?
Meaning,
Is there is like if is there a way that you'd like to share with people? Like
oh, oh yeah. I mean, I can send them the just the link to the site. But I was just wondering, yes, what else is there that they could like this? This is nice, just to come and see what it's like and ask their questions and all that. Yeah.
mhm. Yeah, I think like one of the things that I've been doing is sharing the pranic healing page and saying, "Hey, I'm going to do this for animal communication. I'm going to do this for intuition. I'm going to do this for shamanism. Do you want to help me?"
Okay.
And I think that's a fun invitation. Um,
So
or Mhm.
I have a bunch of people that I think that would fit nicely here. Do you have like it's not really like an affiliate thing, but so that you know who referred who, how they got here? Is there a something for them to fill out? Who sent you my way kind of thing? or
I've done that a few times. The best that I can do is well, the best that I've come up with is a coupon code where they get a discount, and you. I mean, if people want a kickback, I can do a kickback. Is that what you're looking for?
well, I wasn't even really thinking about like an affiliate with a payment, but so that you know that the people who are coming in have been referred by existing practitioners rather
Mhm.
than just stumbling across it. You know.
Right. Yeah, if there's interest in that, I mean, I mean, you could tell me, like, oh,
Right.
this person, I like to talk to people, so like, anybody can reach out, text me or call me or whatever.
Okay.
But yeah, no, that's an interest. I've thought of that. It wouldn't be too hard to do, but it's not in place right now.
Okay.
Yeah, I
And
mean, it would just basically be a referral system, right? I mean,
right.
what you're, yeah, asking about, I think. Yeah, makes
Mhm.
sense.
Mhm. Um, okay, well that's it is 8:30. So if anybody would like some one-on-one time to look at a profile or look at anything, I can stick around, or everybody's free to go. But yeah, thanks so much for showing up. I'll do another meet and greet in 2 weeks, and it won't be this. It'll be more of a like what I'll my once we get enough people, there'll be breakout rooms and there can be different conversations, but it's a way for the practitioners to get to know each other. 'Cause I think that's important. But so there'll be that in 2 weeks, and next week on Thursday. Does anybody have a is everybody interested in the cohort? Like, is there would the 6 Eastern work for everybody?
Yeah.
I
It
think
should.
so. Yeah. Mhm.
Okay, so I'll just set it at six o'clock next Thursday, and I'll put that in the members corner group so that and if anybody doesn't know, the members corner group is just for practitioners. So that's stuff that's there is just for us. But I'll post
So
something there.
how often does that cohort meet? Because next Thursday I'm finishing up a training that I'm giving, so I'll be busy all day. But
Okay.
is that a weekly, every other week? Is that
Every other week. So yeah, one week I do the meet and greet, and the next week I do the cohort, and then back to the meet
okay?
and greet, and then the cohort. So there's something every week, but yeah.
Okay. Cool.
So
All right. Well, thank you. I need to run, but this has been great.
Thank
And it's reminded me I need to update my profile.
mhm.
Nice
Well,
meeting
perfect.
everybody.
Yeah.
Thank you,
you.
Karen.
Thanks
Yeah,
everybody.
thank you.
Thank
Thank
you.